Hello and good day everyone. My name is Abdul Halim bin Aman and my student ID is 2021-476604, and for today I will be presenting about idioms. Ladies and gentlemen, what is actually an idiom? An idiom is actually a saying or an expression which contains a figurative meaning that is different from the literal meaning. I give you one example. For instance, if you are saying you are feeling under the weather, you don't actually mean that you are staying underneath the weather. Am I right? Under the weather simply means that you are feeling unwell or sick. Idioms often reflect or summarize commonly held cultural experience, even if that experience is now outdated or antiquated. For example, you might say that someone should bite the bullet when they need to do something undesirable. The phrase's origin refers to wounded soldiers who literally biting down on a bullet to avoid screaming during a wartime operation. That common occurrence from the past resulted in a phrase that we still use today. Ladies and gentlemen, now let us move on to the purposes of idioms in writing. Idioms are a type of figurative language that helps to add dynamism and character to a writing. In simpler words, or in other words, idioms help to beautify your writing. Moreover, idiom helps to add humor to your writing. Idioms help to transform flat description with a funny turn-on phrase. For instance, if you want to say that someone is not really intelligent, you can say that they are not the brightest star in the sky. To convey that the subject in question is not intelligent, the inherent comparison of a person's brain to a star is unexpected and humorous. Idioms help to express ideas in a simple way. Idioms can help to express a large or an abstract idea in a way that can be understood or comprehended easily. For instance, you could say that two things are possible to compare to one another because they possess different traits or meanings. So, to simplify it, you can use like comparing apples to oranges. In this case, the use of an idiom helps to express the same idea in a much simpler way. Do you know that there are several types of idioms out there? No? So today I will be sharing with you some of them. So the first one is pure idioms. Pure idioms is an idiom which its original meaning is lost to the extent that there is no possible way to analyze the phrase logically to come to an understanding of its meaning. This type of idioms tend not to have significant overlap with the figures of speech like metaphors and similes because there is no comparison that can be derived from it. Another type of idiom is binomial idioms. Binomial idioms are idioms that involve two parts that work together or in contrast to construct an expression. I give you for example, black and white. Black and white indicates clear differences. Other than that, more or less. More or less usually refers to something which is close enough to correct. Other than that is prepositional idioms. Prepositional idioms contain prepositional verbs plus an adverb or a preposition to create non-literal meaning. These types of idioms need to be placed in a sentence and cannot be used in isolation. Believe or not, you may notice that prepositional idioms are not barely recognizable as idioms because they are so commonplace in the English language. I give you 3 examples there for you to be familiar with prepositional idioms. The first one is put up with. Put up with simply means to tolerate. Next is go for. Go for means to try something. And last but not least, get along. Get along means being amicable. Next is euphemisms. Euphemisms used to soften a message that might be sounded a bit harsh or blunt or politically incorrect. We will use them when gently chastising someone who is talking about something uncomfortable or even talking about taboo topics like sexuality. The examples of euphemisms are correctional facility, which simply means prison, and also big bond, which means fat. Next, I want to share with all of you some tips for incorporating idioms into your own writing. First of all, do not overuse idioms. Although idioms can spice up your writing, be aware that you don't use too many idioms in a writing because it can be confusing. Second of all, try to avoid cliche idioms. Some idioms are widely used very commonly nowadays that they become very cliche. How many times have you ever heard about "Don't judge a book by its cover" or "I hope you are in the pink of health"? Over-reliance on common idioms can cause the readers to be bored with your writing.